Hello guys and welcome back. Today we are looking at a Baldur's Gate 3 mod and it's the Death Knight. Now what is a Death Knight? A Death Knight is an iconic World of Warcraft character. It's a fallen paladin, fallen knight using a rune system for magic rather than using mana as the other magic uses in World of Warcraft. I'm pretty sure that the Death Knight is based on Lord Soth from Dragonlance and Ravenloft, and he's a fallen knight or Death Knight. He's depicted as a Death Knight. He's a fallen knight of Solamnia from the world of Kryn, and he's a really cool character. As Blizzard always does, they pick the best from the fantasy literature and from other games, and they make their own twist on it, and thus became the Death Knight a part of the World of Warcraft game in Wrath of the Lich King, if I'm not mistaken. What makes the Death Knight special is that rather than using the normal way of casting spells, like say you memorize a spell and you cast it, or you have X levels of spells you can cast, the Death Knight uses what is called unholy runes, frost runes, blood runes, and of course runic powers. To use this mod, you'll need Baldur's Gate 3 mod fixer, improved UI release ready, Baldur's Gate 3 script extender, and improved UI assets. You need those to get everything in-game, the new icons and stuff like that. So once you get into the game, you'll make a randomized character. I took a dwarf because Death Knight dwarfs are just cool. I also made him a Duergar because why not? And once you get to the class, you scroll down a little bit and you'll get the Death Knight down here. For subclasses, they have Blood, Frost, and Unholy. If you have Blood, you'll have Blood Shield. Frost will give you Frozen Heart, and Unholy will give you Dreadblade. Once you pick your subclass and your background and your abilities, you're good to go. The Death Knight is a warrior type, so he can use simple weapons, martial weapons, battle axes, hand axes, light hammers, warhammers. He can use light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor. And of course, you'll have different skills depending on which background you pick for him. And of course, once you get into the game, you'll have the first enemy if you have the Mind Player is Still Alive mod installed. And of course, you'll have your Death Knight abilities down here. And what is really cool about these abilities, or the icons for them, is that although they don't really fit in with the general icons in the game, these are the actual icons taken from World of Warcraft. So you'll have some runic power. You'll have 100. Also, you'll get runic power back with a 15% chance once you hit something. You'll then have your unholy runes, your frost runes. Now you have Death Grip, which is an ability that will draw someone nearer to you, and it will also stun them for one turn. You'll have Death Coil, which is a necrotic damage dealing ability. It can also be used as a healing ability if you have an undead ally. And it will also give you a chance to regenerate an unholy rune. If you look at the cost, your Death Coil will cost you 30 runic power. And of course, the Death Knight is also a knight, so he's a warrior kind of type, so he can of course use his normal attack, main hand attacks and stuff. On level 2, you'll get a new action. It's Heart Strike, and as you can see in the bottom, it will cost 1 blood rune to use. We also gain a passive fighting style, so we can use defense, dueling, great weapon fighting, and 2-weapon fighting. On level 3, we get a class feature which is Harbinger of the Scourge. You gain immunity to all diseases. There's action, death and decay. This is an area effect that will slow. And you have Horn of Winter, which is a buff that will buff anyone near you. You get a subclass feature, which is another blood rune, because we chose the blood. And you get the Blood Boil, which is also a blood rune spell. On the next level, we get Raise the Dead, which uses an unholy rune. We have one of those. We get Chains of Ice, which costs a frost rune. And we get Death Pact, which costs another blood rune. On level 5, we get the class feature, Extra Attack, but that's the warrior kind of feature thing. We get another blood rune. And we get Death Strike. This is a melee strike that deals force damage. And it also heals you for 25% of damage taken last turn, minimum 10% of maximum health. And this strike has a 60% chance to generate a blood rune. We get a raise action, which is invisibility. And on level 6, we get Anti-Magic Shell, which is an unholy rune spell. We only have one unholy rune, so we can't use that too often. We get Mind Freeze, which is a frost rune. And of course, we get Rune Trap. The Death Knight will also start with some really cool armor. An Oathbreaker Knight armor, an Oathbreaker Knight gloves, and some Oathbreaker Knight boots, giving you 1 athletics, 2 saving throws, and 1 less piercing damage. And of course, if you can get the Everburn Blade right away, you'll also have a great sword to fight with, making the Death Knight really, really powerful fairly early on. When it comes to combat, the Death Knight have special abilities, like for instance the Death and Decay, which is an AoE. And this AoE will corrupt the target ground and slowing down all targets, and it will do 5% of their maximum hit points over 10 turns. Also, he has, for instance, the Death Grip, which is a bonus action, so you can move people closer, and now he's stunned as well. So he got damage for being in my Death and Decay. The Death Knight is basically a tank melee character with a lot of interesting spells. It also has a buffing ability, like the Horn of Winter. So if we use that, that's a bonus action. Everyone will increase the strength and dexterity by 3 for 10 turns. And he can, of course, still do his normal warrior actions, for instance, a cleave. And kill everybody, more or less, in one go. This is an Unholy Death Knight. He'll have 4 Unholy runes, and he will have more Unholy spells. Death Knight is a really, really cool character. Also, he will have Enlarge, which is a class action, so he can grow in size to become stronger. So now we have a very big Death Knight. So yeah, Death Knight, a really, really cool class, and I like how the modder used all the icons from World of Warcraft. This is the Unholy version, will of course have different reactions, like Scorch Strike and Death Coil. You'll have Invisibility and Enlarge. You'll have his weapon actions and common actions, of course. And he'll have all his Death Knight class actions. And you can see here how many Frost runes, Blood runes, and Unholy rune he has. Overall, a really fun character that plays differently than the other characters in the game. It's a tanky DPS melee character able to do magic that can boost or buff or control the enemy. They have very good hit points and also very good armor class because they can use all the armor in the game. It also has the ability to shut down spellcasters. It has the ability to do more than one attack because it's a warrior or a knight. So all in all, it's a very versatile character, and it's a character able to do a lot of damage, control the enemy, heal himself, and basically be a pain in the butt for the enemy. So that's the Death Knight, the classic World of Warcraft character, based on the classic Dragonlance character Lord Soth. That's pretty much all for this video. If you found it informative, or if you want to try out the Death Knight, leave me a like and a comment, and maybe even subscribe. And that's it for now. Rex are out.